Hey folks, Brennan Dickerson here for BirdsFan.com with a little preview of what we might be able to expect in free agency. Free agency is scheduled to begin Friday at 12:01 Eastern Time. Yeah. The Eagles have a lot of needs, primarily on defense. They need a defensive end, they need a linebacker, and they need a safety. Those are the three biggest needs, I believe. On the flip side, they could also use a running back. They can always use offensive line depth and wide receiver depth. Some people who we might be interested in. Number one priority in my book is Julius Peppers, the defensive end out of Carolina. Fantastic player. The knock on him is that he doesn't always give 100% effort. Look, not every player is going to be Trent Cole and give 100% on every play. The fact of the matter is, Peppers, without giving 100%, still managed 10.5 sacks last year. We need that production to complement Trent Cole. Trent Cole, with someone like Peppers to complement him, will become a dominant force in the NFL. They double and triple Cole already. You can't double and triple Cole if you have to account for Julius Peppers. He's my number one priority. As a backup, there is Kyle Vanden Bosch out of Tennessee, a guy who gives it 100% every time, very high motor guy, similar to Trent Cole. And then there's also outside linebacker / defensive end Aaron Kampman out of Green Bay. Kampman, prior to injuring his ACL, was my number one target. He injured his ACL in November, had the surgery shortly thereafter, so he's a question mark. We don't know if he'll be healthy, and I imagine the Eagles are going to be very cautious given the debacle that was the Stacey Andrews situation this past season. However, if he is signed, I'm going to believe that they believe he is going to be ready for the season, and if he is ready for the season, I believe it will be a fantastic move. He is a fantastic defensive end and is one of the lead sack masters in the NFL since he's been in the league, as is Julius Peppers. I'd be thrilled with either one, Peppers being my primary target. At linebacker, I don't expect any moves in free agency. Carlos Dansby will be available, however the Eagles have not historically, for the past 30 years, really valued the linebacker position all that much. They've never brought in a high-name free agent in the Reid era. They haven't even drafted one in the first round for 30 years. I'd love to see Carlos Dansby here. I don't expect it at all. For safety, there's a few options. And we're going to go into trades a little bit here. But for a free agent option, there's Antrel Rolle out of Arizona. He is going to be released due to contractual issues. It isn't because of his play. The Cardinals are thrilled with his play. However, the Cardinals have so much money invested in players like Larry Fitzgerald that they can't afford to keep all these stud players on defense. So they're going to release him in an attempt to get him for cheaper. I don't think they're going to get him for cheaper. Now, Antrel Rolle could possibly go to a place like Chicago, who's also supposed to be in the running for Julius Peppers. I don't see it happening, though. Antrel Rolle would be an interesting guy. The knock on him is that he isn't particularly physical. He's a turnover machine. He intercepts them and brings them back, much like Ed Reed does. However, he's a little soft on the tackling route. That's why I'm into the idea to a point. However, we already have tackling issues with Asante Samuel. So that worries me. However, New York Jets safety Kerry Rhodes is supposed to be up for trade. He is a guy who can hit, will hit, is a smart player, rarely finds himself out of position, doesn't get as many turnovers as you'd like, but we still have guys like Asante Samuel who can force turnovers, Sheldon Brown who can force turnovers, and the defensive line who can force fumbles. So the turnover thing I'm not too worried about. I mean, we had a great turnover ratio this past season. However, if we can get someone back there to be an intimidating force on defense, that'll be great. That is why my number one safety that I would like to target is Kerry Rhodes in a trade. He could probably be had for a third-round draft pick, maybe a bit more. I'm not entirely sure how much the Jets value him. However, we have 2 third-round draft picks. I think we have 7 draft picks in total. We could conceivably make a trade happen. Flipping over to the offense. Our needs. We need a running back. With the release of Westbrook, which we'll go and talk about that quick, great player, had that happen. Anyone who's bashing the front office, you need to get your head out of your butt. Brian Westbrook's done. Love the guy. Great guy. He gave his heart. He bled for the team. Great player. His time has come. He needs to retire, and I hope he does. That aside, we do need more running back depth. Now, available are some interesting names. Chester Taylor will be available from the Vikings. He's at the 30, the dreaded 30 mark. However, he doesn't have much mileage on him. Darren Sproles from San Diego will be available. They chose not to tender him. I don't know why. So he would add something else. He's a very Deshaun Jackson-esque player in that at any given moment, he can take the ball 80 yards for a touchdown. He would also be very helpful on kick return, so he's a guy to maybe be interested in. There's also Thomas Jones from the Jets, who for the life of me, I can't figure out why they're releasing. He is 30, but he is coming off of a 1,400-yard season. The guy is showing no signs of breaking down. He would be an interesting fit. I doubt any of them sign here, however. They all want to be starters. That won't happen with LaShawn McCoy and Leonard Weaver here. That means we would likely look to the draft for a running back. I'm not going to get into the draft today. Wide receiver depth. They haven't tendered Jason Avant yet. He's going to be a restricted free agent, assuming a new contract bargaining agreement isn't reached by Friday, which I don't believe it will be. We need to tender him. He'll be a free agent if we don't. An unrestricted free agent. If we tender him, I'd imagine they give him probably around a third-round draft pick tender. He is a guy we need to retain. If we don't retain him, there's not much out there as far as wide receivers on the market, so you'd be looking again to the draft. I expect them to retain him. Now, Leonard Weaver is also supposed to be a restricted free agent. It is rumored, and I believe it's very true, that a contract is being worked out. He will be re-signed, I'm assuming, around 12:01 on Friday morning, however you want to say it. So, that's just a little look at what we can expect in free agency. I am fully expecting Julius Peppers. 100%, I have the exact same feeling about him as I did about Asante Samuel. I expect Julius Peppers to be a Philadelphia Eagle by around 5 o'clock Friday afternoon. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll be disappointed, but at the same time, I trust the front office. Now, many people think the front office is cheap. I'm about to go on a little rant here, so if you want to shut me up, go ahead, leave YouTube. The front office is not cheap. Anyone who believes that is just pissed off that they'd never signed TJ Houshmandzadeh and that they let Brian Dawkins walk. To that I say get over it. This front office is anything but cheap. Ask guys like Jason Peters, Asante Samuel, Sean Andrews, Stacey Andrews, John Runyon. Any of those guys tell you, this team isn't cheap. If they want someone, they will sign them. If they don't want someone, they won't sign them. Us fans aren't always right. That's why we're fans and we don't work for the team, you know? But anyways, I expect Julius Peppers to be here. I'd be thrilled to see a guy like Kerry Roach end up coming here. Be cool if we get one of the running backs also. Doubt it happens. But anyways, you guys have a great week. I'll be back, I don't know, maybe a week or two to review some of the moves so far and have a little preview of the NFL draft. Have a great week, folks. Fly, Eagles, fly, and I'll talk to you later. See you for now.